full Emmy list later.
I mean, if you're sitting on the couch, no one will notice you.
No one will see you.
Also, no one will watch. So you're fine. All right. Okay, this is ready. This is up. All right, let's hit record in 3, 2.
And welcome into a brand new episode of the Media Boat Podcast, your one-stop shop for weekly news on movies, TV, music, and video games. Not necessarily in that order. My name's Mike. His name is Matt.
My name is Matt. His name is Mike. Thank you for joining us. This is episode 340. Today is July the 16th, 2022. Welcome. Hopefully you're enjoying the middle of your summer as we approach the dog days. I don't know. When are the dog days of summer? Is there like a specific period of time for that?
Yeah, it's right after 4th of July and right before Labor Day.
Okay.
Where you're waiting for, there's nothing you can really do because it's just summer and it's hot and you don't want to be indoors. But as soon as you go outdoors, it's summer and it's hot. And you're like, oh my God, I don't want to do anything.
Why am I out here? Yeah.
Yes.
Why did I do this to myself? Exactly. I don't know. I'm a little lizard, so like I'm just absorbing the sun. I love it. Just like you put me outside in the sun, I'm just like, just basking.
Yeah, but same thing happens with the news, though. It all kind of dries up. That's the dog summer.
Yes, which brings us to the podcast today. Not a whole lot of important news to talk about, just a smattering of things here and there for you. So let's just get rolling right into it, and let's start the show.
And we start the show with the music section. And we start the music section with the Billboard Hot 100. As it was, once again, your number one song.
Yes.
As it was, by Harry Styles.
As it was.
At 2, About Damn Time, by Lizzo, getting that album bump.
Yeah, just a little bit of an album bump.
Yep. We'll talk about that album a little bit later.
Yes.
At 3, First Class, by Jack Harlow.
Yes.
Coming in at 4, Running Up That Hill, A Deal with God.
Oh, That Hill.
By Kate Bush. And rounding out your top 5, Wait For You by Future, but really it's Drake and Thames.
So yeah, really what happened here is Kate Bush showed back up again, probably because people are finishing up or catching up on Stranger Things.
Yep, but not listed in the top 5, but Metallica's...
I was going to say Master of Puppets is probably coming up too.
Yeah, first time that's been on the Hot 100.
Can we call that the Duffer Bump?
Yeah, the Duffer Bump.
Duffer Bump. It's just fun to say, really.
As for your albums chart, your Billboard 200.
Yes.
Coming in at number 1, you know it's summer, because Un Verano Sin Ti, Summer With You by Bad Bunny, or Summer Without You by Bad Bunny.
Yeah.
At number 1.
Bad Bunny still.
At 2, Harry's House by Harry Styles. At 3, honestly, never mind, by Drake. Coming at 4, Dangerous, the double album by Morgan Wallen. I thought we killed it. Wait, no, sorry. This is not by Morgan Wallen. This was by Chris Brown.
Sorry, I didn't change it from last week. No, it's by Morgan Wallen, but hey, might as well.
And coming in at number 5, Planet Zero by Shinedown.
Yes, that Shinedown.
That Shinedown?
Yeah, I don't know where this came from this week.
If you're wondering where Lizzo's new album is, it'll be on the charts next week. Yeah. If you didn't like any of those albums, or if you're not listening to Special, you can check out these new releases next week, including Entering Heaven Alive by Jack White.
Yes, that Jack White.
2000 by Joey Bada $$.
Yes, Joey Badass.
Yes, but it's Bada $$. Yes. The Last Goodbye by Odessa. Melt Away, a tribute to Brian Wilson by She and Him.
Yeah, that is what you think it is. It's Zooey Deschanel and what's his name doing covers of Brian Wilson and Beach Boys song.
Yep.
Which sounds insufferable to me, but maybe someone out there will enjoy that.
Yeah. Maybe this will give Melissa Villasenor some ammo for upcoming SNL season.
Let's hope so. Write that sketch right now, Melissa.
We also have... Wait, did I get that on
camera? Yeah, I don't know if somebody heard that. We don't have the good mic this week.
All right. Gulp by Sports Team.
Yes.
And Hello, Hi by Ty Segall.
Seagal?
There's 2 L's.
Steven Seagal?
Yeah. Okay, Seagal.
Yeah. Seagal? I don't know. Anyways,
let's get into some music news, and we start with Kanye.
Yeah.
So aka Ye.
Yeah, this is not something I typically would ignore a Kanye story, but this one's got a legal angle that's potentially interesting.
Oh,
so
I love me some legal angles.
I know you do, and so I wanted to include it anyways.
Oh, yeah. So, Ye, as he likes to be now called,
Yes,
is the subject of a lawsuit filed Thursday that alleges he and his firms are holding out on more than $7.1 million owed to a production and design firm that worked on his Donda 2 live stream release show. His canceled Coachella appearance, his The Free Larry Hoover concert with Drake, several Sunday services, and the rapper's studio spaces.
yeah.
The firm, Phantom Labs, alleges that as the unpaid bill began piling up from the multiple projects, it was assured that everything would be paid up once the star collected a reported $9 million fee for appearing at Coachella, which he famously dropped out of.
Right.
Because once Ye pulled out of the headlining performance with weeks to spare, the company says it was on the hook, not just for the millions already owed for past collaborations, but money it had paid other vendors for the Scotch Festival appearance.
So this whole thing reminded me of something I read a few years ago, which was that like Kanye had made some sort of statement about like, oh yeah, everybody thinks I'm rich, but I'm actually like not at all.
Mm-hmm.
And like a lot of people were very quick to be like, actually, no, that's not true. But maybe there's some truth to that, because like this is extremely funny that all of a sudden he's like, I don't have the money to pay you guys. What are you talking about? $7.1 million? Well, I didn't play Coachella, so they didn't pay me. Mm-hmm. It's like, yeah, you owe for that too, dude.
Yep. Like that was your fault. You didn't pay for Coachella. That's no one else's fault but you.
It's so funny to me when somebody like who is such a big like performer is all of a sudden like, what are you looking at, folks? He pulls out his little
thing, though? He's not just a performer, right?
Yeah.
He's a producer. Yeah. He's a shoe bag.
Like,
he makes clothes. He makes cologne.
He pulls out his wallet and a little moth flies out. He pulls out his pockets inside out, you know, that thing.
I know. You probably say like,
nothing here.
No. Like those like clothes company. No, that's clothes company money. That's not performance money. We don't cross money streams.
For Adidas.
Yes.
Anyways, yeah, I don't know. It's stupid. It's just funny that it's like he couldn't even pony up for the things he has done. Like he can't even pay back his own organization for the money that he spent. It's just embarrassing. He's just a big embarrassment right now. That's all.
Oh, don't worry. Someone will work for Kanye West, though.
I'm sure somebody else will jump on a song with him, no matter what.
Yep.
All right.
Maybe a song you may have heard.
Heardle. Let's move on to our second story.
All right, let's move on to our second story about Heardle.
Yeah.
Not Wordle.
Yeah. Have you
heard Waffle?
Have you heard of Heardle? Have you played Heardle?
I have heard of Heardle. Uh-huh. I do not play Heardle because I'm not that in tune with individual music.
We've tackled the occasional Heardle. We are okay at it typically. Some of the ones are a little too hard for us, especially when it's like some British artist we've never heard of. But generally speaking, you play a few notes, and we most of the time know what we're listening to. So we're okay at the Heardle.
So much like how New York Times took something that was good and free and decided to pay for it, and now you just go to their website.
Yeah.
Spotify is adding the music game Heardle to its arsenal.
Yes.
Acquiring the daily Name That Tune website, patterned on the massively popular Wordle game.
Yes. So
financial terms of the deal aren't being disclosed, but Heardle actually popped up this year, February 2022, based on the format of Wordle, which itself was bought by New York Times, as mentioned, for $1 million plus.
Yeah.
In Heardle, in case you don't know, players try to guess a song as quickly as possible based on its opening notes.
Yeah.
They get 6 tries, getting a few more seconds of music each attempt. So like Wordle, Heardle then lets users share their results for bragging rights.
Yeah.
This is just a riff of like Name That
Tune. Name That Tune. It's a form that's existed for a very long time. Yes. But like the story says, the fact that it gives you those like 5 tries or 6 tries, I don't know how many, like tries. Wordle, and there's one every day, makes it a fairly interesting approach to the same idea.
Yep.
But yeah, it can be incredibly hard. I don't know what this means when it does go to Spotify. Does this become something you can only do through the Spotify app? Or is this just a Spotify hosted thing that's still on a browser, but the songs are streamed through Spotify?
So with the New York Times, you can still do the daily Wordle
still do the Wordle
without being subscribed to the New York Times.
Yeah.
But they then try and point you to the other games that they do have that you need to subscribe for.
I mean, as a couple of subscribers here, we're happy to say that, yes, it's worth the money. But if you don't care about the crossword, unlike us, then yeah, maybe it's not. And yeah, Wordle by itself is fine anyways. But yeah, I'm hoping they keep it free, and I'm hoping they keep it accessible. I would hate to see something as neat as a Heardle become a hurdle for people to access, if you know what I mean. All right, let's move on.
Yes.
After that brutal pun.
So congratulations on taking a format that has already been established and selling it to a different format that's already been established.
Yeah, I guess so.
Match made in not heaven.
Sure. All right.
So we have some thoughts.
We do. We have a couple thoughts this week. A couple of albums came out.
All right. So we both listened to Special by Lizzo.
Yes, we did.
Okay. So as special as this album is, it's not really that special, especially since Lizzo uses a whole lot of already established music and tunes.
And
bits and samples. And
all right. Okay. Let's get this across before we go deep into here. Do you like Lizzo's singles? Like, do you have a good time with It's About Damn Time?
Oh, you're asking me?
Like, I'm asking our audience, just people in general. Because if you said yes, and that makes you excited and happy, I've got good news. You'll probably have a good time with Special, because Lizzo has figured out what people like about her, what kind of songs people want from her, empowering anthems about, like, you know, just being a badass and being like proud of yourself and your body. A lot of empowerment happening here. Mm-hmm. She's leaned all the way into that zone, and that's all that Special is. It is one thing. Does it do that one thing well? I mean, again, if you like the singles, you more or less know what the sound is here. And that's what you get. It's just that if you expected a little bit more, and if you expected songs as catchy as some of her best work, it falls a little short of that for me. And I was pretty underwhelmed by this thing.
I had fun with it. I don't know if some of you listened to it.
But
I actually had fun with it. I liked that it was all empowering. I liked that it leaned heavy into that. Mm-hmm. This is what, her 5th album?
Is it?
In total?
I don't know, actually.
So she finally found what taking from like the hits that she has, and like you said, fully leaning into it. And that's not a bad thing.
No.
The thing that gets me on it is that it's mostly not original sound.
Right.
That's the thing. That's why I opened with that. It's taking bits and pieces, samples from other music genres. So you're like, oh, I heard, like, this is the tune from here. This is the tune from there.
Yeah, there's a few songs where it's like, oh, okay, she wants to put a little bit of a disco sound in here because of how huge that Dua Lipa record was. Yep. There's a few moments where it's like, okay, there's a little bit of acoustic guitar in here. Like, she's trying to get like maybe some like a broader kind of musical palette, but it never comes across as anything but Lizzo expanding a little bit her sound. Like, and it doesn't even expand it that much is the thing. I don't know. I just found myself a little bored. I mean, don't get me wrong. You put this in like the background of your Labor Day barbecue coming up here, and you're probably going to have a good time. It's very good, like, uncontroversial summer music. Like, it's a perfect thing for having a bunch of people over. Like, it works for that. And that's not a bad thing. If you're looking for a comforting summer record, Lizzo has you covered. It's very much that.
I mean, it must be, because I've listened to this thing 3 times.
Yeah, there you go. I mean, I feel like part of it for me is that I love when an extremely popular mainstream artist takes some risks, and this is not that at all. I like when there's a little bit of like experimentation. This, like, maybe an inch. She like does an inch of experimentation and then goes back to the comfort zone. then there's nothing wrong with the comfort zone. I'm just saying that I think I was hoping for a little bit more.
This is mac and cheese.
Yeah, it is.
It's mac and cheese.
Yeah.
It's delicious. It's good. You know what you're getting.
But
there's no like extra bit to it.
Let me tell you though, you put some chipotle, a little seasoning in some mac and cheese. Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, and you add some cream cheese into the cheese sauce.
Make it a little cheesy, a little creamier.
Way better. That's what this album needs. It means a little cream cheese and a little chipotle seasoning.
I was thinking like adding like either like chorizo or some brisket, get a little spice to it.
If you're a veggie house, you can't really do that.
Yes, you can't really do that.
You can add some plant-based chicken, which we've done before.
I think
we did. Actually, we did then.
Some hatch chilies. There you go. There's your spice.
All right. Well, I mean, with the chipotle spice,
yes,
you're kind of good. You're there. Sorry.
Wait, are we food? This is food.
Hey, you know what? Now that I'm cooking, we could do a food podcast. Made stuffed peppers last night.
Nice.
Yeah, they were good. Really, really good. Anyway, side note. Let's move. So that's Lizzo. You know what you're getting into with this, and I know we say that a lot here on this podcast.
Well, I don't think so, because a lot of people may be coming to this album not having listened to her full discography, just listening to the hits.
You don't need to, is what I'm saying, though, because if you listen to what About Damn Time sounds like, you know what that is. Mm-hmm. You know what you're gonna get here. That's, again, not necessarily a bad thing. I'm always gonna have that bar pretty high for these artists, and she just didn't quite meet where I was, but that's okay.
I think she met the bar that she set for herself.
Yeah.
But you're looking for something to exceed, to wow you, to blow you away.
Yeah.
And it wasn't exactly that.
Something that was, though, that did surprise me, and I was not anticipating to sound like it did, was the other record I listened to this week. I'm going to step on my soapbox again here on the Media Boat podcast and talk about Beabadoobee, because I don't think enough people are talking about her. Flashback to when we did the Coachella, we talked about the Coachella stream. Yep. I talked about how her set was a lot of fun and there was barely anybody there. I felt kind of bad. Well, I'm happy to report that her album, this is her second full length after a couple of EPs that she put out over the last couple of years. Her and her backing band. And yeah, it surprised me. It sounds like so much more than just the sound she's established on that debut and EPs. She's really branched out in some really interesting ways. It is a lot more low key of a record than I thought it was going to be. Not necessarily with ballads, but just like slower tempo, like opportunities for her to like really focus in on lyrics and like really own the songwriting part, and not so much just be like quirky pop girl, which is, I think, a lane that she could have stayed in, that she maybe figured out she didn't have to. There's a lot of influences coming from places you would not expect. There's a lot of like 90s indie sounds. There's a lot of like even some like bossa nova style grooves. She's trying a lot of really interesting experiments here. Again, contrast to the Lizzo record, that makes it that made me kind of be like, oh, okay, that's neat. And the fun thing about it is that it works. It keeps working as the record goes on. If I had one negative thing to say, it does run a little long. There's like maybe one or two too many songs on this thing, but just the breadth of it and like the things that she was willing to try and kind of expand. Well, it's befitting of the title. Like, so the title of the record is Beatopia, which is apparently like the name that she had for her own like imagined universe when she was a kid, because her name is B. And yeah, it feels like that. It feels like that she's created this world of her own, kind of like where she can play around with these different sounds. But if you're coming for the really catchy pop songs, you're also going to get those. And there are a handful on this record as well. A couple of famous collaborators are involved here. Matty Healy from the 1975 produces a few tracks here. I don't love the 1975, but I think that he adds a little bit of interesting texture to some of these songs. So there's interesting stuff happening behind in the production here as well. But yeah, I had a really good time with it. I really were surprised that it wasn't just the thing that I thought she did in the past, and now that she's really expanded the kind of music she makes, I think a lot of people will be surprised by this thing. So.
Do you think listening to this ruined your hearing of Lizzo?
No, I don't think so, because I listened to Lizzo first.
Yeah, but now you're reflecting back on it.
I don't know. I just like, I don't know.
Comparing it to something that you actually enjoyed.
I think Lizzo has potential to do more, is I think where I'm at. And I think they're not really comparable either. I think is the thing is that like, yeah, they're comparable to me, someone who listens to both of those things, but I'm not going to surprise anyone by saying there's not a whole lot of people who listen to both of these records. One is a lot in the more mainstream zone than the other, which is fine.
Your Venn diagram is a sliver.
The Venn diagram is not that large. That's why not that many people were had her set at Coachella. It's not that kind of same zone. So it's not like, I don't think it's fair to really compare them expectation wise. I think they are different kind of bars. Those bars are at different places. But if an artist is moving that bar, that's cool. And I want to like praise that when it happens.
I don't want the bar to move. I like my establishment where it's at.
Yeah.
I don't want a mobile bar.
Bolted to that wall, just in there permanently. All right. Anything else we listened to that we need to talk about?
Nope. Nothing else. So, I did go to the concert of Palomino.
Yeah, how was Palomino? Saw Casey.
Palomino.
Hello, you know.
Probably if you know, you know. Willie Nelson's getting old.
Yeah.
Just like bringing it out, and it's like I had the moment of like, there it is, living legend.
Yeah, he's there.
Struggling to get through his own song, and I'm like,
you sure that was 90. His age, or are we sure it wasn't just the weed?
No, that was his age. I mean, he can still play the guitar, but sure. Like getting the words out, it's this very soft-spoken voice now.
Sure.
Even when he did his own set, he had his sons up there helping him out and singing the songs.
That's smart.
One of them actually sounds a lot like him.
Hey, what do you know? Genetics.
Yes.
Okay. I mean, yeah, he's an older guy.
You get those. It's like it's fun seeing like these old legacy like American legend acts, and then at the same time it's like
it's kind of sad.
It's kind of sad because they're not going to be around for very much longer.
Yeah.
Again, they've been saying that about Willie for like 20 years now.
Right, so. Like we talked about last week about
Santana,
Christie's theory, which Christy, I mentioned your theory last week on the podcast about how all the artists who did a lot of drugs in the 60s are just like encased in like some sort of protective shell and will never die. Yeah, Willie's part of that. For better or for worse. Yes. So yeah, we'll see how long he lasts. But yeah, you're right. It can be sad. Yeah.
But Casey Musgraves.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, that will do it.
Yes. But also Casey Musgraves.
Casey Musgraves, who was not old, was also there.
Yes. And she played a lot of the Starcrossed album.
Cool.
Which that's still a good album.
It's a vibe.
We said it's
a vibe.
It's good live.
Okay, to be fair, we never said it was bad.
No, we said it couldn't live up to Golden Hour.
Yeah, which is again, that's hard to do. Yes. So like, it's not her fault that she had to follow a showstopper.
Yes.
Like, but yeah, no, it's a good record and it's a vibe.
Yeah.
So
and it was a short set because of the festival, so we played for an hour.
Yeah.
But because she played both like strictly Golden Hour and Starcrossed,
she knows what's up.
She knows what she's doing,
yeah,
and it's good. Both those albums are good.
Yeah, they're wonderful,
especially live.
Oh yeah, I was actually gonna say like Starcrossed stuff. I bet really works live because so much of, especially the festival, you want those vibes.
Yes,
you want vibes, and she gives vibes.
Yep,
on that record. So yeah, that's cool. Anybody else of note you want to shout out from the Palomino Festival?
Turnpike Troubadour, lots of fun.
Turnpike Troubadour.
Yes,
I've never heard of them.
They are lots of fun, and you can listen to them on a long, hot summer day. And if you know that reference, you know that reference.
I don't, but I'll take it. Cool. Great. I thought you were going to say Turnstile for a second. I was like, Turnstile was in Palomino?
No, Orville Peck was there, though.
Orville Peck was there.
Yes. I can confirm. I've seen Orville Peck twice now.
I like how you have nothing to say besides the fact that you've seen Orville Peck.
Yes, I've seen Orville Peck twice now.
No comment, thanks, Steve. All right, let's move on to the next part of the show.
Yeah, let's move on to a video game, and we start with new releases.
Yes.
Big release this week, As Dusk Falls for Game Pass, Xbox and PC.
So this is the one, in case you don't remember, this is the one that has that weird hand-painted stills art style that occasionally has animation, which I think looks really terrible. But people seem to be into it.
I will be checking this one out.
Yeah, this is on Game Pass, so I might take a look. But I don't know if I'm in the mood for that kind of like adventure game right now. Not really looking for a narrative game. So, might be neat though.
Well, we also have Ending Extinction is Forever.
Endling?
Endling?
Endling. There's an L in there.
Extinction is Forever? Okay.
Endling.
For PS4, Xbox One, Switch, and PC.
Yep.
Your other big release, Stray.
Yes.
For PlayStation and PC.
That is out on Tuesday. I will play this since it comes included with my PlayStation Extra subscription. Yes. Yeah, I want to play as the kitty cat. That's just all I want to do.
So I may actually upgrade to extra just to play this and then see where it goes from there.
Yeah,
it just put me back to the essentials.
Yeah, I'm really excited to play as the kitty cat.
We also have River City Saga, 3 Kingdoms for PS4, Switch, and PC.
Which, from what I can glean, is a crossover between the River City Brawler games and the 3 Kingdoms legend from China.
What?
There have been 3 Kingdoms games in the past, but this is not that. This is still a brawler. And I'm like really confused with what it's trying to do, but sure. Okay.
Right. There's also Wayward Strand coming out for everything.
I don't know what that is.
Capcom Arcade 2 Stadium.
Second Stadium? I don't know.
For PS4, Xbox One, Switch, and PC.
Capcom Arcade Games Collection.
And Live a Live for Switch.
So I'm still not really sure about how to say this. I think it may be Live Alive.
Or Live a Live.
I don't think it's Live a Live. That sounds really weird.
Live a Live? Live Alive?
I think it's Live Alive. Anyways, this is a Switch remake of a Super NES game that actually never came out in the US back in the day. It was a Japanese exclusive. It's a traditional JRPG, except it's got some wild time travel shit in it. You might want to check this out.
Okay.
It seems like it might be your thing because it does some weird stuff with time travel and storytelling where you're jumping from different decades and stuff. It seems like it's always been a pretty neat game, and they hadn't translated it for the US until now. So people are excited about Live Alive. I don't know. Seems cool.
So if you enjoy Chrono Trigger.
Yeah, very Chrono Trigger. I believe it's a Square Enix game. So yeah, I believe it's
that would
from
make sense.
a lot of the same. I believe it's from the same minds that brought you that game. Right. So there you go.
All right. So let's get into some video game bits.
Yeah, bits this week because there was just enough to happen that I didn't want to narrow it down to just 2 stories.
Yep. So first we start with PlayStation.
Yes.
And they have officially completed the acquisition of the Destiny studio, Bungie.
Yeah, this one ended up being a quickie. I think people did not expect it to be wrapped up this quickly. But yeah, so Bungie is officially a PlayStation Studios studio as of now. So from now on, Sony calls the shots. So I'll be interested to see what happens to Destiny going forward. You've noticed that it's been kind of quiet since the last expansion came out.
Put all the DLC on the PlayStation.
Please, yes, put in extra. Just put one place where you can do everything.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. Speaking of PlayStation, Sony has revealed PlayStation Stars.
Yes.
A new loyalty program featuring digital collectibles.
So
no, digital collectibles, not NFTs.
All right. Well, yes. Before I say what I was going to say, yes, Sony made it clear that these are not NFTs. You cannot sell them on a marketplace, and they are not based on the blockchain. These are just like fun little, I don't know, here's a model of a PS1 that you can collect. Isn't that cool? That's all this is.
Yeah.
The second thing I was going to say is, as the poster child for this, are you excited about a PlayStation Rewards program?
Shouldn't they have done this before?
Yes.
I mean, because first you changed PlayStation Plus.
Yeah.
And then split it into 3 tiers. And now you're adding a new loyalty program. Yeah. And you have to purchase things through the PlayStation Store. Which,
yes,
that in of itself is a problem because when I went to go purchase and pre-order God of War this past Friday, I couldn't do it on the PlayStation Store.
Yeah.
I had to go to Direct PlayStation. By the time I figured it out, all the pre-orders for the Jolter edition were gone. The Jotner.
Yeah, I saw that apparently they're already getting
doubled
scalped.
on eBay. Yeah.
So yes. Concerns about the usability of the PlayStation interface aside, conceptually, are you interested in this? Because you do typically buy a lot of PlayStation games, you play a lot of PlayStation games, you are somebody who would unlock a lot of these unlockables. So that's got to be exciting, right?
If I can count my yearly subscription towards this royalty,
then
yes.
It's back pay.
Just back pay me.
So yeah, it's this is an interesting thing to happen now. Because it's yet another example of Sony had such a huge like presence and lead in the PS4 generation. They were the ones setting the trends. It has completely reversed this generation. They are just looking at everything Microsoft is doing and taking like so many notes about what they're going to do next. They launched their Game Pass equivalent, and now they're doing basically the equivalent to what they do with Microsoft Rewards in the Xbox interface. Same exact thing. The challenges are going to be similar to what Microsoft already offers. Like you play 3 Game Pass games this week and you unlock some points, or play this specific Game Pass game for a challenge this week and earn some points. Buy this game and get points. This is exactly what Sony is.
Like platinum a game, earn points, or stuff like that.
Sony literally just
rewards tiers.
I don't want to say they copied it, but they're definitely being like, this is a good idea for community engagement, so let's do it too.
Yeah,
it's not a bad thing, but again,
it just seems late.
Yeah, it seems a little late, but also, yes, in order for it to be work as intended, you're right. They need to clean up the interface.
Nintendo currently does this too.
They do as well with their coin system, gold and platinum now. So yeah, it seems like having all of these offer some sort of reward system, I think is very smart. But again, the key is make your interface usable and make it easy to do it, or else no one's going to care. So you're right. They need to fix those little pitfalls if they're going to make people like want to do this. But we'll see if they do.
We'll see. I mean, yes, I'm just going to like sign up and slowly accumulate stuff over time. But
yeah, as you do.
Those rewards are only good for the life of the company.
Right, exactly. But hey, Sony's going to be around a while. I don't think this is the last PlayStation. I don't think it's going to be the last PlayStation. I don't know why you think that. There's no evidence saying that it's going to be.
I didn't say that. You did. I didn't say this was going to be the last PlayStation.
You gave me that look.
But I didn't say it.
Fair enough. All right. What else do we have in the yummy
Other
bits?
In video game bits here, Skate 4 will now be free to play and be retitled to Skate.
So, yeah, after years of clamoring from fans who wanted another Skate game, the company finally confirmed that they were making Skate 4. We've heard very little in the form of actual news until now. And honestly, this surprises no one. Everybody figured that a modern Skate game would be a service game. Like, the way that Skate is already structured is built for that, right? It's an open world with different skate parks you can go to. You're already interacting, seeing other skaters in real time. Just make that the game and make it free to play. And the unlockables write themselves, right? You buy decks, you buy
wheels, you buy
like stuff for
gear,
you buy clothes for your skater. Like there's so many like ways you can easily monetize this game. So it's not surprising that they would. Like they want this to be Fortnite for skateboarding, and I think it will work. Honestly, I think it's a great idea.
I mean, if you said it's Fortnite for skateboarding to any executive, like
exactly. Here's money because it's a good idea, and like it's cool. Like it's a cool idea, and it could be a potentially really neat social space for people who are into skateboarding, as long as the skateboarding is like it was in the original Skate games, which is to mean realistic, not like Tony Hawk. You're not gonna catapult yourself and do a 1080 off of anything here. No, it's very 1080?
Realistic. How low are you flying?
Pretty low. No, but yeah, it's not going to be like wild Tony Hawk skateboarding here. This is going to be very grounded, very much based about like nailing those simple tricks and then getting better. The Dark Souls, if you wish, of skateboarding. So yeah. I don't get why people are mad about this because I think it's an exciting opportunity and more people will be able to play it. So I think it's a win.
Yeah.
Skate.
The Fortnite of skating.
Yes, the Fortnite of skate.
All right. We also have announcement of Bayonetta 3.
Yes.
Official release date, end of October.
Yes.
Or in October with a new trailer.
Yeah. Again, a game that a lot of people, especially Switch owners, have been waiting a long time for. They had announced it, in 2017, I think. Like the second, a year into the Switch, they said that this was going to be a Switch game. Because Bayonetta 2, believe it or not, was a Wii U game.
Yes.
How long ago that was. So yeah, it's cool to have a final release date. It's also cool that Nintendo has another big release for the end of the year. So it's this and then Pokemon in November. So cool. Nice 1-2 punch for Switch owners. couple notes about this game, though, is one, it will have a toggle for if people don't want to necessarily see the super like revealing Bayonetta transformations, which is a staple of the series.
Yes.
So if you don't know anything about Bayonetta, her clothes are her hair, and she can transform her hair in different ways to basically change her battle abilities. She unlocks powers by moving her hair in ways, but of course doing that means she's revealing some of her body. It's supposed to be fun and like just a little horny. This one will have a toggle where you can tone that down if you so want to. Say if you want to play it around people who would be like, what the hell are you playing?
Or if you're trying to speedrun the game.
Yeah, or if you're trying to speedrun the game, skip those animations.
We know what they're really doing for. They're doing it for the speedrunning community.
But yeah, so October, that's very exciting. That first Bayonetta game, which is the only one I've played, is a lot of fun. It's a lot of combo fun for fans of like stuff like Devil May Cry. It's a blast, and it's wild and it's weird. Mm-hmm. And so I'm excited for the third game to be just as wild and weird.
And lastly, for Nintendo, they've announced a multiplayer game, Kirby's Dream Buffet, for the Switch.
How spoiled are we? A second Kirby game in the same calendar year. This is not a big single-player adventure, though. It is multiplayer focused. Essentially, you are a spherical rolling Kirby that is collecting food as you roll down the hill or up that hill. Hey, Kate Bush. Hey, what's up? And you're competing against other multicolored Kirbys to get the most food at the end of the level. Seems cool. Look like there's a few power-ups you can get to like knock people out of your way.
Isn't this Katamari Damacy?
It's similar to Katamari, but actually its roots are in the Kirby 64, or no, even before that, I want to say it was like Kirby Superstar mode called Gourmet Race. Okay. Which predates all that. So
where the buffet comes in?
Yeah, that's the buffet where the most food wins. So yeah, I'm very excited to give this a shot. This seems like a cool little multiplayer Kirby game. And just the Kirby just full of food at the end is just so cute. It's just so cute. He just ate so much food. He was just so hungry.
Big mouth mode? Full mouth mode?
Yeah, that's the real mouthful mode. Anyway, so that's Kirby Dream Buffet, and that will be coming later this summer, according to Nintendo.
All right. Any other game bits news?
I think that was the major stuff that I can recall. I didn't talk about the whole everybody being pissed about the God of War collections and the steelbook that doesn't come with a disc, because we kind of touched on that last week. So, but yeah, apparently that blew up over the weekend. People complained about it because, of course, they did.
But there's people who have the digital edition that aren't going to need the disc.
I know. It is kind of weird, though, that they're not selling a disc with that steelbook, though, yes. Right? What do you put in the steelbook?
The map.
but steelbooks are made for discs. They have a little disc indentation.
Yeah, but you also put it on the shelf to say, see, I have this steelbook. Put it next to your other steelbook stuff, like Horizon.
At least put like a disc of something else in there, right?
Yeah. Like
a soundtrack?
Maybe.
Could have done that. Anyway, although one of them comes with a vinyl record, though, yes. Which is
Bear
wild.
McCreary's vinyl record.
Bear McCreary. I can't believe that's the guy's name.
Yeah, it is.
That guy's name is Bear McCreary.
Yeah, it is.
Do you think he and Bear Grylls hang out? Do you think they have a bear club?
They bear down.
They bear down. They have a bear. Oh, anyway.
Are there kids named Cubs?
Aw, that's cute. All right, we need to move on.
Right.
You played a game.
Well, lastly, didn't Sony also buy another studio?
Oh, Haven Studios,
yes.
Which is the thing that Jade Raymond built, and they were on actually some Sony stream a couple years ago saying that they were working on something. Well, PlayStation bought them. They were already being funded by Sony, so it made sense for them to just buy the studio outright. So yeah, no surprises here. Yeah. That's why I didn't really include it here, is because, yeah, of course, Haven, a studio funded by PlayStation, would be bought by PlayStation.
Makes sense.
Yeah, checks out.
Yeah. All right. So, thoughts. Video game thoughts.
Yeah, you played something.
I played something.
You escaped.
Yes, I escaped an academy. Or have I?
I don't know. Have you?
Can you ever escape the true academia of learning?
Wow. Deep.
Very deep. But that is very deeper than this game.
Very
Escape
deep.
Academy.
Okay.
More deep? The deepest.
Yeah, it's deep. You could have just said deeper.
Deepity.
Yes, it's got so much deepity.
Deepy.
Okay, how? What? Beabadoobee. Okay, what is Escape Academy?
Escape Academy is exactly what you think of. It's a point-and-click escape room adventure game where you walk around, point and click, and interact with stuff in order to escape and complete different tasks.
Sure.
Lots of puzzles, lots of different interactions, different characters, all built within this academy, this school of learning how to best your classmates in escaping.
Okay.
Except there's a problem that so every level gives you a time limit, but even if you exceed that time limit, they're like, oh, would you like some extra time? Instead of like having to make you like do it all over again, except at a faster rate, which is nice. You get lower grade because of it, but there's the air of mystery around the school.
Okay.
But otherwise it's very basic, very straightforward of a point and click escape room adventure game.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, that's what I figured this was when I saw some screens and some talk about it. As a person who has engaged in some escape rooms in real life, how accurately does it present that in video game form?
So far of the levels that I've played, very straightforward. It's look at this thing, look at that thing, compare the two, look at this thing. Most of the stuff they've given you in the game to help you understand what you're trying to look for. There's only one piece so far that I've come across, which was a color thing of here's the 3 basic colors, and oh no, they merge here. But we're not going to tell you which way they merge. You're supposed to either know or if it's somewhere else in the room. I didn't see it.
Right.
But other than that, like you're supposed to just use the knowledge within the room.
Right.
And not any other external context outside external information.
Which is how real escape rooms work.
Yeah. Except for colors. Apparently, because you're supposed to know what colors mix well.
So artists have an advantage here, I guess. I don't know. So do you think there's been a lot of games, especially on the PC, that already have kind of this individual puzzle thing conceit to it? This, of course, though, is unique in the way that it's like, but it's an escape room. Do you think that the escape room trappings is enough to set it apart? Or do you think it's just another one of those indie puzzle games for the PC?
It's an indie puzzle game.
Yeah. It's
just another one of those. It's just skinned like an escape room, which means that a lot of the puzzles are interactive with each other. But there's also what's good about all these puzzles that they're also non-linear. Yes, you need to complete certain stuff in order to unlock other stuff.
But you don't have to do
the exact order. It can be on your own accord, which what makes a good escape room.
Right.
Is that it's not you have to unlock this to get the key, to unlock this, to unlock the key, to unlock this, to unlock the key.
Is this a strictly single-player thing, or are there multiplayer hooks?
Because it is multiplayer.
Yeah, because I was going to say, you would actually hope that something like this, because one of the reasons why a lot of people have so much fun at escape rooms is because there is that collaborative part. You're working with your friends to figure it out. It's not just you.
Yes, so you can do this solo, but you can also do it multiplayer online and multiplayer local play.
That's cool.
Which is a good bonus.
Yeah, that's really cool, because I feel like if that was missing, this would be exceedingly boring.
Yes, which means when they eventually do speed run this with multiplayer local, it's going to go super fast.
Oh yeah, let's get some experts on there. They're going to love this. Well, cool. And this is available on Steam, I'm guessing?
This is a PC Game Pass game.
Oh, this is Game Pass. Okay, cool.
Yep, at least that's where I played it.
Cool.
And then also Power Wash Simulator came out on Game Pass as well.
It is hitting 1.0 this week. And yeah, it's out for good.
Yep. I played the first part of that, and
it's all right.
It's exactly what you think.
Yeah, it's
because you already talked about this, right?
Right. I talked about it way back when it was still in early access, and it's fine. It's what you think it is. It's literally you're spraying water to clean up mess. It's just that. And if that seems tedious and boring, well, I got news for you. It can be. It can also be frustrating because sometimes you'll miss one little bit of mud and you don't know where, and you'll just look up and down the entire level forever trying to find it. But when it is engaging, it can be fun. So I see why people like it.
And then because I did finally get access to PC Game Pass, I played and streamed, for those of you on Twitch, twitch.tv/mediaboat.
Oh my.
Donut County.
Yeah! Did you love it? Isn't it the best?
It's so good. I beat it in an hour. It was good.
It's so good. I love everything about Donut County. Wow, you're just loving all of Ben Esposito's stuff this year with Donut County. Going back to Donut County after playing Neon White.
Yep, I still need to finish and beat Neon White.
Yeah, I gotta play more of that too. I neglected it again this week because turns out when there are baseball games to watch, I do that instead.
Yes.
It turns out
you have like multiple monitors. You can put one on.
Yeah, but also when I work from home, I'm at this desk all day, and the last thing I want to do is stay at this desk for another hour playing Neon White. So instead, I go to the couch and sit my ass down.
Yes, and that's why I got on the Switch version, so I can go sit on the couch and play it.
I need that mouse accuracy. I need it, so I can get shave off several seconds off our time. We should mention that after last week's show, we did do some head-to-head speed runs here. One problem with that, though, we found out that the Switch version and the PC version's records are apparently for different times, as if the devs themselves admitted the Switch version is just slower. Mm-hmm. So we could not necessarily compare ourselves directly to each other because of that difference. But it was fun for a moment till see we're basically in the same wheelhouse. I think we're basically beating these levels at the same time.
Yeah, there's a couple seconds off here and there.
Yeah,
but I think it's because the PC version runs faster.
It just loads faster. It's not going to have slow down. Yeah, it's just a different experience. So I guess I partially take back my warnings about the Switch version of this game. It seems like it's serviceable and is a good way to play this game. But I'm going to say, if you care a lot about global leaderboards, you might want to pick it up on PC.
Yes. That being said, their current record of doing all level speed run is somewhere on 35 minutes.
Yeah, jeez.
So you can watch that.
You can do that. I don't know. Yeah, I want to wrap that up. I want to play a lot more of it because it's just so much fun. That game's just so much fun.
Also, it's fun. Tetris Effect.
Yeah. You mean our game of the year, 2018?
Yeah.
Yes.
So the Tetris Effect connected. I was able to play on Game Pass.
It's so good.
It's so good. I love the music in that.
Oh my god! It's just it may be one of the best video games ever created.
Doctor walked in on me playing it, and it was during one of the intro ones.
Yeah.
When they were doing the Indian.
Oh,
yeah, that was weed.
I mean, yes.
It was nice and slow, a lot of sitars in it.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, sure, if that's what you think, because there's all greens and yellows and flashing around.
Honestly, I don't know. Playing Tetris Effect High would either be the best experience in the world or the absolute worst experience in the world. I am not sure, because you have that give and take where it's chill and the music's cool and the colors are nice.
Keep your motor functions
but
going.
Then also the anxiety some people would get from getting too high up on the Tetris board. Oh my god, they would die.
I'll talk about a show about anxiety a little bit later.
We will talk about that a little later. But in the meantime, let's move on because that's pretty much all we've played. Let's talk about.
And like I said, I'll play what is it? As Rivers Run Dry, whatever it's called.
As Dusk Falls.
As Dusk Falls.
I'd rather play As Rivers Run Dry, which is this game you just came up with.
Yes.
Workshop that one. No, and I'll talk about Stray next week. I'll talk about the kitty cat. I'm very excited to talk about the kitty cat. Let's move on to our second half of the show, and we do go to television next. And we always start television with the Sports Corner. There's
sports helmet
for you. We start sports this week with the British Open, which continues this weekend.
Continuing right now. Tiger Woods, unfortunately, did not make the cut after the second day. So he did a somber farewell. This is the 150th playing of the British Open, currently playing in St. Andrews. And the putting is very brutal, if you were asking.
Yikes. I wasn't, but sure.
And
do people ask that?
Yes.
How's the putting?
It was brutal.
I feel like this is a reference to something I don't understand.
Yes.
Okay, got it.
For those of you who actually live over there next to the Jigger Inn, you get it.
I'm sorry, the what? Can we say that?
Yeah, we can say that, right?
Okay.
Yeah. Tiger Woods actually hit the Jigger Inn. It wasn't Tiger Woods. It was Dustin Johnson. They were playing a practice round, and his ball hit the Jigger Inn. It's an inn and a brewery and a pub that sits catty corner onto the golf course.
Sorry, I imagine there was something on the green that you were hitting in.
No. So in the town of St. Andrews,
Uh-huh.
there's a place of a bar, pub, where you
Yes.
get like delicious onion rings and
Ooh.
some pints after
Okay.
your long days of playing golf.
I would love that, yes.
Yes. Call the Jigger Inn.
Okay.
And it's on I think the 17th hole, right before you get to 18th. So
okay, so you don't want...
It's on the way there.
And you can accidentally hit...
Yes.
The inn.
Yeah, because the inn goes like this, so you can either hit it like over it or around it. But some people can't exactly hit it over it, so you hit the roof of it.
Ah, I see.
Yes.
Okay, got it. Anyways, anything notable besides that? The British Open?
Other than that, Rory McIlroy is probably going to win. At least he's the one I'm putting my $5 on.
Sure. Hey, why not?
Hey.
I love a low stakes sports bet.
Yes.
All right.
He's also from England, so English man will win the British Open.
Yeah, sure. That's fitting.
Yes. So because this isn't open, it's not sanctioned by any PGA tour.
Right.
A lot of the live golf players are also here,
Jesus.
and that has also been some sort of a contention.
I bet,
especially since they before the actual tournament began, they did a winners round where former winners would come and they play. I think 6 out and 6 back without going through the whole course for a total of 12 holes. But one person was notably absent.
Who?
Greg Norman,
who
we've talked about, who won previously the British Open, but is currently the CFO of Live Golf.
He's a little occupied, huh?
Yes, but he could have come and help promote Live Golf, but they really didn't want him there. So in order to avoid that controversy, they said okay, I'm just not going to show up. But then again, it made people questioning it more, why didn't he show up? And oh, you know why?
Controversy.
Yes.
Anyway, well, that's fun. Also fun.
Speaking of Saudis, President Biden is currently visiting with them.
I know, yes, but we're not.
No, we're not.
We don't need to talk about that. Let's move on instead to something else contentious that's happening at Dodger Stadium. Concession workers have unionized.
They've already been unionized.
They've been unionized, but the union of the concession workers for Dodger Stadium has announced Monday that workers voted 99% to authorize a strike while pursuing a, quote, fair new union contract, unquote, ahead of this week's MLB... Well, this coming week.
Yes.
MLB All-Star Game festivities. Technically, it starts today. There is the Futures game is today, right?
I think it's on Monday.
Oh, is it Monday? I thought it started this
weekend. No, it's this weekend. The Futures game is this weekend.
Futures game is
because
this weekend.
Monday is the Home Run Derby.
Monday is the Derby, and then Tuesday is the All-Star game. So, it has to start today, I think, for them to get everything in.
Right. That's why the Dodgers are not at home right now.
Right, exactly. They can't be. So in advance of all those festivities, the Major League Baseball Players Association subsequently issued a statement in support of the workers, and new contract you need a comma there. Contract negotiations are taking place with Levy Restaurants, the Chicago-based company that employs the workers and contracts with the Dodgers to operate stadium concessions. So, if this keeps going, attendees to the All-Star game might find themselves without hot dogs to eat. You come expecting a Dodgers dog? Well, sorry, they're on strike.
Also, when can you ever get 99% of people to agree on anything?
I mean, yeah, that's amazing, right? Goes to show you how bad those terms were apparently with Mr. Levy's restaurants.
Yes.
This is, of course, obviously we hope that the poor workers get their fucking money, because this sucks. Concessions is a hard job, especially with rowdy people who go to baseball games and get drunk. Mm-hmm. You never want to deal with that, and you need to be paid adequately to have that job. So I fully support them taking advantage of their numbers here and going on strike. So just know that if you do try to get a Dodgers dog at the All-Star game on Tuesday, it won't be served by a scab. And you don't want scabs and hot dogs in the same sentence, do you? Do you? No. I didn't think so.
No, if you already don't know what's in a hot dog,
then you definitely don't want it served to you by a scab. Anyway.
Let's happened over the course of the past week. They voted on Monday to strike.
It's smart timing, honestly.
Yeah.
Because they know that if they want the All-Star game to go out with the hit, they will make a deal now.
Token.
Yeah. They will absolutely have to make a deal now if they want this thing to be.
And that's what they're going with right now. They're back at the negotiating table, and things are moving in the right direction.
That's awesome. That's good. I love to see unions in work, and this is good news. This is also our moment to say hey, All-Star stuff is going to happen. Like we said, Home Run Derby on Monday. None of our favorites made it this year, but
Albert Pujols will be there.
Pujols will be there because
it's his last time, and
so
they're basically rolling out the treatment for him.
Right.
Like, thank you for your 50 years of service.
He's not been in the league for 50 years.
You're sure?
I am positive that that's not possible.
20 years of service, whatever.
Yeah, 20 is. Might as well be 50 in baseball years, though.
Yes.
But yeah, so
that's why he's the machine.
So go see those balls get smashed on Monday, and then Tuesday will be the All-Star game.
Or if you just want to put the money, just give the trophy to Pete Alonso, the polar bear. Just do it already.
Yeah, just do it already. But yeah, then Tuesday, the All-Star game. And if you want to tune in afterwards, the celebrity softball game.
Still no word I've seen on who's going to be the actual starting pitchers.
Right, yes. It seems like all signs point to Kershaw for the National League
and Ohtani.
And maybe Ohtani for the American League. That might not be the case when we get to Tuesday, but seems likely.
But Ohtani is a pitcher, an all-star pitcher.
Yes.
It's just not confirmed if he's going to be the all-star starter.
Right.
Pitcher.
He's already in the game as a DH as well.
Yes.
So I think it's a lock. I think that you will see an Ohtani-Kershaw matchup.
I'd like to see that, too.
I think it will happen, especially with this series that's happening right now with the Dodgers and how well Kershaw pitched. There's no question it's going to be him.
Especially if they only get to pitch one inning and then get taken out.
Honestly, that's fine for Ohtani. I prefer that. We don't want what happened last year where he got his swing all out of whack after being in the home run derby.
Yep.
And so, yeah, it'll
be
better
this year.
Better for everybody. Also note about other All-Star Mike Trout. He's currently been out of a couple games this week due to some back spasms. He is planned to return tonight. We don't have the lineups yet tonight, but we'll see, and we'll know because we'll be there. But also, he is still expected to play in the All-Star game. Nothing should disrupt that. So, close call. Very close call.
Last year's contention for Home Run Derby, Vladimir Guerrero, will not be in the Home Run Derby either.
Not. Right. Junior. Please. Junior, please.
Sorry. The second. Vladimir Guerrero, the second.
Junior. Vladdy Daddy Junior.
No, that does not work. No.
Vladdy Daddy Baby?
Yes. Vladdy Baby.
Ew, I don't like that. Anyways, let's please move on. Anything else in sports that we need to talk about? Or is it really just baseball right now?
Right now, like I said, it's the dog days of summer doldrums of baseball.
It's baseball.
As we get through but there's one big good news. It is the last month of only just baseball. As next month, when we get into August, start football season. So get those mock drafts going.
Yeah.
Fantasy football is around the corner.
Yeah. It's like you never had a football break, though. I mean, the USFL just ended.
Yeah, it did.
Wow, you just like constant calendar year of football. Of football.
Yes, and then next year, in 2023, we get the XFL back.
Right.
Thank you, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson.
Thank you, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. All right. Anything else in sports before we move on to television news?
Oh, no, we can definitely move on.
Because we have to talk about this week's big television news, which was the nominations for next year's Emmys. Yes, it's Emmy time, or this year's Emmys.
This year's Emmys.
I forgot. They are in the same calendar year. Yep. Yes, the Emmy nominations are out. Succession earned the most nominations with 25, including Outstanding Drama Series. That was followed by Ted Lasso with 20, including Outstanding Comedy Series, and The White Lotus with 20 nominations for Limited Series. The combo of HBO and HBO Max helped the Discovery Warner brands earn 140 total nominations, with Netflix in second place with 105. The Emmys will air September 12th on NBC and Peacock at 5 p.m. Pacific, while a host has not been named. So watch this space. Yep. Drama series nominations include Better Call Saul, Euphoria, Euphoria, Ozark, Severance, Squid Game, Stranger Things, Succession, and Yellow Jackets. Who do you think is the favorite here?
Well, there's a big push for Severance. I wouldn't be surprised if Squid Game pulled it off. People really love Squid Game.
Maybe.
I don't want Stranger Things to win.
Sure.
I don't want Succession to win. Succession is the, current runner, but
I think actually it's the one you didn't say. I think they'll finally give it to Better Call Saul as kind of a crowning final season achievement. They've done that before. They'll give it the Schitt's Creek treatment, right? Where it's like, this thing is over. Yeah, let's finally
it's
do
not,
it.
because it's currently airing.
Yeah.
So they have next year's Emmys to be the final
Oh,
season.
you're right. Okay, I'm
So
a
it's
year
not.
off.
You're a year off.
It could happen, though. Well, okay, if it's not Better Call
Because these
Saul...
are the Emmys for everything that happened last year.
If it's not Better Call Saul,
season.
I could see I could see Euphoria, honestly. I could see Euphoria here just because of the HBO push.
It might be Ozark's last bid.
I don't think Ozark has ever been that big.
No.
I don't think it has a chance. I could, although you're right, I think if there was a surprise, it's Severance. I think Severance could easily sneak up and be the dark horse.
The critics love Severance.
Critics love Severance. And everybody who I talked to has watched it loves Severance. So
even here on this podcast.
Yeah, goes to show you. Someday I will watch it. Maybe
Someday you'll watch it.
I don't know, probably not. Let's then for the comedy series, real brutal lineup this year. Abbott Elementary.
Yay!
Good to see the sole network show in this list. Barry, Curb Your Enthusiasm, Hacks, The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, Only Murders in the Building, Ted Lasso, What We Do in the Shadows. So out of those, yeah, I'm feeling pretty comfortable saying that it's probably Hacks again.
So Hacks won last year.
Yeah.
That's only because The Marvelous Miss Maisel was not nominated last year.
Yes, but I think that it's had its chance. And I think that Hacks will probably win for a second time. I don't think Only Murders has the momentum. I think it has star power, but I don't think it's going to beat like other things in this category.
You can say this, but we all know we're voting for Ted Lasso.
I feel like Ted Lasso has maybe ran its course.
No.
Emmys wise.
No.
After the Hacks win, I can't see it winning again.
No.
I'm sorry. I think it might be done.
Okay.
I think what should win here is What We Do in the Shadows, which has been fantastic. Season 4, I was going to mention this in thoughts, but I might as well just burn it here. Season 4 just premiered last week, and it's just as good as it always has been. So I think that's an easy win here. Christy, do you have things to say about these nominations?
Yeah, What We Do in the Shadows.
Yeah.
Should
it's
win
good.
for Wellness Center.
Yes.
Specifically.
Yes.
It's so good.
That episode is nominated in the writing category, rightfully so, and should win it. But yes, you're right. The power is probably between those three, between Hacks, Maisel, and Lasso.
Yep.
You could see a Barry upset here because it's also in its finale.
I don't think it's in its finale.
I think it did.
I don't think
it did. It ended. It's over.
No.
No?
I don't think so.
I thought it was.
Everybody on my Twitter said they watched the last episode.
Yeah.
Okay.
So maybe it's over. I don't know. But yeah, unfortunately, I don't think What We Do in the Shadows actually has a chance. And I also don't think Abbott Elementary, as much as I love it, it's still a network show, and there's too many prestige comedies in this list. I think it gets obliterated.
Your dark horse is Curb Your Enthusiasm because of Larry David.
Just
because of Larry David.
It's always there.
Yep.
But yeah, no, I think this is Hacks again. Yep. Then for limited series, your competitors this year are Dope Sick, The Dropout, Inventing Anna, Pam and Tommy, and The White Lotus. White Lotus is the easy answer here because it was the big phenomenon.
Yes.
It would be really funny if Pam and Tommy took this because it is a comedy limited series, which makes it stand out from the others.
Everything else is dramatic.
Yes. But yeah, I think this is The White Lotus.
Technically, The White Lotus falls under dramedy.
Sure. But yeah, it has the push. I think it has the advantage this year. In a year where there is no American blank story of either variety, I think that it has a chance.
Yep. Congratulations, Jennifer Coolidge.
Yes.
Get
yours.
Get yours.
All right. Anything else to say about any other weird Emmy stuff? Like I said, I mentioned the comedy writing categories. There's a couple of What We Do in the Shadows episodes, as well as the pilot for Only Murders is in there. And it's an interesting bunch of episodes in there.
Yep. We'll talk about what our Emmy predictions are when we get
closer to September
12th. But right now, Emmy nominations are out.
Yes.
So you can stop seeing for your considerations.
No, you will continue seeing them until September if you live in the LA or New York areas. All right, let's move on to our second story. Hey, did you know that COVID's still a thing?
Yes, people are still involved in COVID.
Turns out it's not going away. And studios and guilds are aware of this. And they've extended COVID protocols until September 30th.
So, you know how we just said that the Emmys are coming September 15th?
This would include that.
Yes.
So yes, the Directors Guild of America, SAG-AFTRA, IATSE, Teamsters, and the AMPTP issued new statements extending the film and TV COVID protocols. The statement said, quote, "The agreement keeps in place the workplace protocols and protections that have allowed for a sustained and successful return to work, while at the same time allowing flexibility to address the changing nature of the virus." Outside of film sets, Public Health Director Barbara Ferrer said on Thursday that Los Angeles County moved to a high-level community spread of COVID. She said during a video conference that if the county remains in the high community level for 2 more weeks, an indoor mask mandate will return starting July 29th. The COVID return to work agreement has been in place since September 21st, 2021. The latest agreement is set to expire on September 30th and is likely to be reworked again as circumstances change. So, yeah, we're still trying to figure out what can be done on sets and what can't be, like how often to check check tests, like to have check your like whether or not you have the disease, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Like they're making sure that this continues for the time being, especially as cases continue to be consistent in LA.
Yes, because we've had a rise in LA. Even my workplace has said that because of the new, what did they say? Because we've moved into the high risk elevation now for COVID protocols, that they're requiring people to wear masks consistently within the building, except when eating lunch or in your own office.
Which makes sense.
Yeah, away from people.
Yeah, I mean, when I'm at work, I wear a mask all day, except when I'm eating lunch.
Yep.
So, yeah, it's why I'll probably likely wear my mask tonight at the game, because I'm surrounded by all those filthy Los Angeles Dodgers. No,
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I have nothing against Dodgers fans. I'm sure a lot of Dodgers fans watch this podcast. No offense. It was a joke. It was a joke. I promise. I will still be wearing a mask. Anyway, let's move on. Into some thoughts, and these will be some fun thoughts. Before we get to wrapping up Ms. Marvel, you have a couple of things that you want to talk about.
Yes. Both of these are on HBO Max. You can start watching them now. Both of them just started. First one. So remember how a couple of weeks ago I said that I caught up on Fboy Island?
Yes.
Aired last year.
Now there's more.
How could they make a second season?
Well, they did.
If everyone knows that you can't win the money.
Well, they did.
Well, they did.
There's
a second season.
There's more F-boys on this island.
At least they're like better at spotting the F-boys, I feel like. But at the same time,
I'm always great at spotting an F-boy.
I mean,
like that guy? That's an F-boy.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Maybe I have like a difference of opinion because I just watched the first season.
Yeah.
I didn't have to wait the whole 6 months for the new season to return or for the season to come back. But oh my god, some of these boys are just upright, dirty and filthy, and just don't know how to act. Oh my god.
This is just mom energy coming off of this right now.
Mom energy? No.
Don't know how to act.
No, it's not just don't know how to act. It's I'm going to play all sides of this 3-way triangle to better my chances of staying here instead of trying to focus on one person. You know, like you would in a relationship. You focus on one person, not try and
depends, but sure.
Try and woo 3 different people at the same time.
Oh no, there's some people out there.
That's just heavy F-boy energy right there. But yes, Fboy Island, it's back on HBO Max. It's the perfect trash TV that you're looking for.
Yeah, I didn't know until last night that Nikki Glaser hosts this.
Oh yeah, she does.
Okay.
Did I not mention that?
No, I don't know if you mentioned that.
Oh yeah, Nikki Glaser hosts this thing.
Yeah, well, that's fun.
It's hilarious.
Yeah, so how does this rank among the pantheon of recent stupid ass dating reality shows, like your Too Hot to Handles, your
above Too
Love
Hot to
Islands, your
say a below Too Hot to Handle, but above Love Island for sure.
Okay, what's the other one? What's the
Love is Blind?
Yeah, Love is Blind.
No, Love is Blind is absolute absurd perfection.
Oh wow, okay, that's your S tier of these.
Yeah, that's my S tier. It's because it's just absurd.
It's all absurd.
But it's not quite like The Circle where they change the rules on you at any single time.
Right. But it's probably not as good as The Circle.
No, it's not as good as The Circle.
So there you go. More Fboy Island on HBO Max if you want that.
Yep.
Also, we're not censoring ourselves. Obviously, we would say fuckboy. We can say fuckboy. It's just the name of the show is Fboy Island.
Yes.
So that's why we're saying it.
It is HBO Max censoring themselves.
I'm hearing giggles back behind us every time we say Fboy.
Because the show is called Fboy Island.
It's called that.
And yes, they have to announce to the producers whether they came as a nice guy or an F-boy, and then reveal if they are indeed an F-boy when they get booted off.
Do they know?
Yes, the guys know when they get there if they're coming in as a nice guy or an F-boy.
Are they told or they have just done some
Oh no, they audition.
They call themselves this.
They call themselves. They're self-proclaimed F-boys.
Yeah.
And they audition as an F-boy to be on Fboy Island in order to woo the girls and trick them into liking them so they can win $100,000. And if they're successful, they win $100,000.
Oh, it's a stupid show.
But if not,
Probably the premise.
Boy, though, that maybe you're not.
oh yes,
You're yes.
but you're a self-proclaimed F-boy.
Yeah.
But if you get booted off the island, then you get sent to Limbo.
Sorry, Limbro.
Yes.
Hold on. Limbo. Okay. We need to stop talking about Fboy Island.
Limbo.
What was the other thing you watched?
Limbo, because they're not technically off the island. They're not off the show yet. They go to Limbo
I understand the
to
concept.
better themselves so they don't become F-boys, to learn the errors of their ways. In Limbo.
I understand the concept of Limbo.
Yeah. Yes. Especially after you get kicked off after attending Brochella.
All right. Let's move on. The other show you watched this week.
So I'm sorry. Now Christine's gonna want to watch Fboy Island. All right. So the other show that premiered last night on HBO Max, The Rehearsal, by Nathan Fielder, I think.
Yes, Nathan Fielder. Current internet love item. Nathan Fielder.
Yes, Nathan Fielder.
Yes.
Formerly of Nathan For You.
Yes.
Has taken my internal anxiety and put it into actual physical form.
This is why I can't watch his shit. I
I
can't do it.
It's commercials for this thing.
Yeah, I can't do it.
You can't do it?
No, I can't do. It's the same reason I can't watch like prank shows.
Yes.
Or like hidden camera shows. I am so uncomfortable when I see somebody involved in a bit that they did not sign up for.
Oh, but that's the thing, though. They do sign up for this.
Sure, but still.
they're signed up via Craigslist. And basically semi-tricked into doing this. But then you have to like sign your release form saying like, yes, okay, I'm going to go on.
Semi-tricked is always a great way to do things.
Yes. That's how the Nathan Fielder lists his life, semi-tricked.
Yeah.
So the purpose of The Rehearsal is that if you have something that you've been wanting to tell people, like a secret you've been hiding, but you're uncomfortable saying it, if you are able to practice this, aka rehearse this in a space that is virtually similar and identical, and basically pull out a flow chart out of this of every single thing that could happen to it, you would know ahead of time how to react, how to handle yourself.
Sure.
Okay. So basically, it takes all the like internal anxiety of like some people have that like overplan, overanalyze how a situation would go, and puts it into physical form, to physical media in TV.
So he's basically walking through people's anxiety about an upcoming thing they have to do.
The way the first episode was set up was that it was a TV/Craigslist ad of, if you have a secret that you've been wanting to tell someone,
come here and you can tell it.
Yeah, come here and you can tell it.
Okay.
And basically they try and coach you through that anxiety of how to confront this thing.
Okay.
By building an exact replica of the place you're going to do it in and working through exact scenarios with actors who have met the person you're going to be interacting with and in order to like understand their mannerisms, and then repeat that back to you.
So it's a very elaborate conceit on a very basic idea, which is what he does.
Yes.
Which is Nathan's bit. But is it funny or is it just cringy?
It kind of walks the line of cringy and funny.
I'd imagine.
Because like at times you get like the existential, well, you're clearly planning for everything. And then, oh my God, you actually are really planning for everything.
Yeah.
And then it gets funny because it gets into the absurdity.
Right.
Well, we ran into this issue. So this is how I confronted the issue in order to get around said issue. And it does help ahead of time. I feel like it's beneficial, but at the same time,
I feel like it might be.
Well, it's only one episode,
right? Yeah.
But two, it's all like the scenarios that you run into. Like I don't know, if, like you would do it. Listening to this podcast of. Like if you're in a new situation or trying to confront someone, that you run through scenarios in your head of how it's going to play out.
Yeah.
But because it's in your head, it's not like in a physical space. Doing it in the rehearsal makes it into a real physical space. But it also helps in like continuously verbalizing it. So when you do get to that moment, it's not like this is my first time actually trying to verbalize it.
Right.
It's I've rehearsed it. I've said it X amount of times by now that I'm just feels like I'm going through the motions, but at the same time, it's revealing to this person of who you're trying to like set straight, trying to reveal the truth about.
Yeah, I think it's an interesting concept. I could understand a lot of people being fascinated by this thing, and it seems like fun. I will never watch it.
The internet is fascinated by this thing.
Yeah, I bet. I mean, all power to him. I'm glad that people keep giving him money to do stuff like this because...
Yeah, I'm not sure where he gets the budget for this because the sets that he designed, very elaborate and very like detail oriented.
Sure. Yeah. You know what? They're good at what they do.
I'm not sure how he convinced someone to actually like set this up.
Yeah. No, honestly, like I said, all power to him. I'm glad he's being able to do these things with these budgets, with these with a big audience. Like, it's cool. Like experimental comedy is always fascinating and interesting and cool. I'm glad that it can still happen in some format. But yeah, I will never, ever, ever watch this. Ever.
Oh, you should check it out.
No, not happening.
You should watch this one episode.
Not happening. Let's talk instead about something we've been watching for 6 weeks now.
Yes. Event concluded.
Yes. Disney Plus is Ms. Marvel, the newest MCU series, or limited series to be more specific. The
marvelous Miss Kamala.
Very funny. So yeah, we talked about briefly with the first episode how it is trying to do something a little different than the other MCU shows have so far, which is really focus on a very specific culture and a very specific family, and not be so universal, which I think is actually a really interesting and good move. Like, not like pinpoint it on a very specific mood and vibe to really tell a person's story and make it extremely personal. So even when it does get Marvel-y and the special effects start happening more and you do get that lore dump, it still feels more intimate. It never gets so big that the stakes are world threatening. Well,
and it does that for the first 4 episodes.
All right. Okay. So yes, this is when we say, yeah, it does get Marvel-y. I don't want to pretend that there's not a turn here. Just like WandaVision and just like Loki and just like literally all of them do this.
Yep.
You get past that 4th episode and then you get the lore dump and then you get, oh, now that person has powers too. And now the stakes are about the powers now. And there's an alternate dimension happening. Yes. People who are not necessarily geared up for that will roll their eyes. Their eyes will glaze over. They'll just be like, all right.
Where'd my show go?
Yeah. So, Christy, do you want to talk about your experience with Ms. Marvel? So, yeah, so we watched it together, and I could tell that I think that I was still in it, but maybe a little less so once they started doing that stuff. But by the time they ended it, I feel like they nailed the landing. I liked how the final fight was not an earth-ending. Those were not earth-ending stakes.
Yes.
It was literally like, okay, they're going to be taken away or potentially like shot by the police.
Not police.
Well, yeah, the fancy police.
Yeah, the DOD.
But it was never about the world will explode if we don't do this. It was never that high. Kind of refreshing from a Marvel standpoint when the bar has been so high.
It was, but that was only in episode 5, and it didn't get too outlandishly high outside of like the alley they were down. That being said, you're right. The first few episodes, those first 3 episodes, are so good at making it about the culture and about Kamala's Muslim identity and her specific regional identity and the stories about her family, that to have it pivot was kind of jarring. To have it pivot it all of a sudden like, oh, actually, it's not just this. It's also all this magic stuff that's happening. I could understand why someone would be like, all right, too much. You went too far. Mm-hmm. You want to say something?
Well, I kind of expected it to be like a Spider-Man situation, and then it wasn't, and I was like, oh, I don't care.
What do you mean by Spider-Man situation?
You
like, you want Tony Stark to come in and save the day?
Yeah, it's just like a nerdy, like, teenager kid, like, that has powers, and he's, like, figuring it out, and, like...
Except she wasn't the nerd. It was the boy that was the nerd.
I know, but they, like, you know, like, an awkward teenager.
Yes.
And, like, and it's, yeah, they have powers, but it's more about, like, them figuring themselves, like figuring out like their place in high school and that kind of stuff.
Yes, when they were being teenagers, when the show was at its best, not when they tried to skew it into being superheroes.
Yeah, and then I was like, I don't care anymore.
That is all true. I agree with all that. I think you're right. I think that when you lose that part of it, it's very easy to be like, well, this is just another Marvel show. Mm-hmm. And there, it did kind of fall into that trap again. But out of the ones that do it, this probably did that the best, in my opinion. Throughout the whole series, even when it did give you all of that fantasy stuff and leaned really hard into superhero comicville, you still got the amazing, like, needle drops, like some really authentic music. You got the, like, you continued to learn about the community. It never stopped. That stuff never stopped until the end. Like, you got you got to know so much about, like, about the people in her mosque, the people, like, in her family, her extended family, the history of Pakistan.
Yeah, I feel like that's one thing that Marvel has been doing, is throwing real world history into the shows, like Karachi.
Yeah.
Like did Moon Knight as well.
Well, like British occupation in India, and just learning what the partition was and why it mattered, and having that dovetail into the comic book story, I thought was really cool, and like they haven't really done in the same way before. Like, and the fact that it wasn't American centric, like, was really refreshing. And that, like, you can have a mainstream show do authentic Muslim representation. And I know I'm a white guy. Who am I to say that? Well, people I follow on Twitter who are of Pakistani descent have said that it's a very accurate depiction of their culture. And I say, hey, that's a win. Like,
and that's what happens when you give
people of that background power to tell their stories.
Yes. Yes, when you put them behind the camera, you put them in charge of the show, as showrunners, as directors, as scriptwriters. This is what you're going to get. So, and it's good to have those voices being told. Yeah, I think so. So for me, that's where I landed on it. Is that I think that, yes, it does go into Marvel Town a little too much in the last couple episodes, but it's still the best example of an MCU show, in my opinion. It's the best balance to me of, we can have that, but we can also have these really interesting cultural stories and tell relatable stories, which is what specifically Marvel Comics established in the 60s as their thing, right? That's the niche they carved out. Realistic, emotional stories that also happen to be about superheroes. And this achieves that to me. It's what makes Spider-Man such a relatable character, right? That even though he has these superpowers of a spider. Yes, exactly. Yep, flying around, that he still deals with everyday, normal teenage problems. Yes. I think it succeeds in that. It's not perfect. But I wasn't thinking it would be. Mm-hmm. They still have a formula, and ultimately,
These are vehicles to set up the next thing, and that's ultimately what this is. Unfortunately,
and that's exactly what it does. Because
it does that.
Shows up at the very end.
Yeah. So one thing that I think we need to talk about, and we're going to go into spoilers here. So if you have not finished Ms. Marvel, so this is going to be spoiler for literally the last thing that happens.
Literally the spoiler.
Yeah,
and
the
credits.
spoiler, and it's a huge spoiler. So if you don't want to know, fast forward 10 minutes.
5 minutes.
Estimated, maybe 5. I just want to give an extra little bit, just in case. She's a mutant? Dot.
I do not buy that.
You don't buy that that's what they mean by that? Even though in the credits, they credit the X-Men theme?
Yes, I know. Well, because they did the exact same thing in Doctor Strange where they credit X-Men 97 theme.
So yeah, I think that's what they're doing. From what I understand from Nerds Online is that it's sorry, I'm just not that they're nerds. I'm just saying that that's easy way to say people that know more about comics than I do. That is apparently different from her origin in the comics.
Yes, because she's supposed to use the Terrigen Mist, and Crystal is supposed to be Inhuman.
Right, but then Marvel tried the Inhumans and then bailed on them.
Yes.
So they're not doing that. Instead, they're saying that she has a mutation. I'm saying they would not use that word unless they mean it, is my opinion. I think this is their another step in Trojan horsing X-Men in.
Yes, but then you notice that she immediately says, I just want to use it as another label.
Sure, she doesn't.
Yes.
But that's what I'm saying, is that other bad people will. And I think that sets up X-Men, right?
Yes.
That's the whole plot of X-Men, is that they're embracing it. They have a whole school about it.
Yes.
They want to use these powers for good. It's the bad people who are saying, like, no, they're a menace. We need to eradicate
a menace
them.
to society.
Exactly.
I need pictures of...
They need pictures of X-Men.
X-Men.
Yes, we're combining all our universes.
No. See,
truly, the metaverse is here.
So that reference is actually done on purpose. Because what I think they're going to do is use Kamala Khan, Miss Marvel, in the eventual Civil War story that was supposed to be Peter Parker, where as a kid, like everyone thinks it's part of the original Civil War arc,
right?
Where one of the big comic scenes in Civil War arc is Peter Parker siding with Tony Stark, but then ultimately siding with Captain America and revealing that he is Peter Parker underneath the mask, and everyone realized, wait, this is just a kid? Like some of these superheroes are just kids.
Yeah.
And so they kind of back off on Superhuman Registration Act. They're going to use the same thing with Kamala Khan.
See something similar.
Something very similar in Mutant Registration.
So
of people with powers, and be like, wait, but they're just kids. Like, it's not, Miss Marvel is like 20-something-year-old running around like solving crime. No, this is a kid.
No, I think I think absolutely they're setting this up. I think that this has to be on purpose. I think
in addition to Incursion, which is coming 3 years down the line.
And hell, we were just talking about people are like frustrated. Oh, what's the goal for Phase 4? What are we doing here? It's X-Men.
Yes.
That we know that now. It's going to be.
X-Men.
It's always
Ever
been.
Since
it's just
they got Fox, they got X-Men.
They didn't want to tell anybody because rumors, but like I think that we can pretty solidly say at this point.
Once they said X-Men 97 was coming last year to finish up the X-Men animated story arc, that is where they were going. That they're going to bring that X-Men animated comic book somehow into
also
actual MCU universe.
We need to shout out that theme song because it bangs.
Oh yeah. Anyone who doesn't know that thing, very iconic guitar riff.
It's classic. And those little MIDI strings.
Yep.
Anyways,
we will know more because Comic-Con itself is next week.
All right. You can go back to.
I told you under 5 minutes.
Under 5 minutes.
I thought you were going to talk about like Brie Larson just showing up randomly at the end.
Oh, that's another spoiler. Thank you for doing that.
Well, we're still within the 5 minutes.
No, that's obviously a setup for The Marvels, which is the movie that they will both
which is coming next year.
Next year.
We still have a whole year to ponder and theorize and wonder what happened to Miss Marvel and how did Carol Danvers come here where
somehow
where Kamala Khan
transform into her. I don't get it.
Yes.
We'll find out. Anyway, let's move on because we spent a lot of time on that.
Yeah, we did.
Anything else on television that we want to talk about? Tuca and Birdie season 3 premiered. The first 2 episodes are up on HBO Max. They air on the same day, actually. They say next day, but really, since the Adult Swim broadcast is at midnight, that's same day, people.
Yes.
So yes, if you want to watch that, you can also catch up on season 2. Is all of season 2 is up there. So I watched the beginning of that. Like I mentioned, What We Do in the Shadows is back as well for season 4. 2 episodes of that are all up on FX and Hulu if you have that.
I finished Iron Chef Legends.
Oh yeah.
Kind of lackluster at the end.
Yeah.
I mean, it got very competition-y, and it is exactly what you think it is. It's food competition.
Cool. All right. With that, we can move on into cancellations and renewals.
Right, what am I no longer watching?
Oh God, you're finally not watching Chad anymore.
Or are you? Or
no,
were you?
Well, no one
This
was.
is what's going to be my story.
Canceled after 1 season on TBS. The second season was fully filmed and will eventually find a home. So if you want to see...
Wait, do you not know about the story?
So what happened here?
So TBS, as we know, between TBS and TT, they're cutting shows left and right.
Yes.
Warner Discovery is. So Chad, season 2, had aired commercials on TBS.
Yes.
It was supposed to air this week with season 2. Literal hours before it was supposed to air,
right.
It got cut and said they would not air it. And TBS said that we're not going to air Chad season 2 and said we will try and find a new home for it.
But honestly, are we losing much?
We're losing some more Nassim Pedrad.
Okay, don't get me wrong. I love Nassim Pedrad, but her agent needs to be fired because she has been in some awful shit. This thing looks bad from the moment I saw it.
And yet it was critically loved.
Was it?
Yeah.
By who?
It was considered the best new one of the best new shows of 2021.
I just don't. I don't want anything to do with it. I don't. Anyways, sorry, Nassim. I'm sure you're wonderful, but you need to make better calls. Anyways, let's move on.
Not play a 14-year-old boy.
So that's Chad. Ugh, gross. Only the Murders in the Building has been renewed for a 3rd season on Hulu. So second season is airing right now.
Yes.
So we get another one at least.
Have we talked about that yet here?
Yeah, we talked about it briefly last week.
Yes.
That the season 2 episodes had started.
Yep.
And still cooking. Things are really cooking.
I mean, as
it's going some places.
Emmy nominated.
Right.
Only Murders in the Building.
Honestly, I think season 2 has been so much, in my opinion, way better than season 1. It takes the established strengths of season 1 and just pumps them up to 10.
Well, because we already have our established main course. Now it's going
to be you can just go.
Yep.
And the show, like I said, is best when it just goes. And season 2 it just goes. It is not slowed down a single bit. I love they introduced new character, the Steve Martin character's daughter.
Yes.
Who is just the most zoomer who has ever existed. Some of the funniest things I've heard on television this year, this kid said. It's been great. It's been great. Excited to see what they do with the show going forward. We also have Loot getting a 2nd season on Apple TV Plus. Loot.
Is that the Maya Rudolph?
Yes, this is the Maya Rudolph thing. Criminal Minds will get a 16th season exclusively on Paramount Plus.
So it originally went off the air in 2010, but coming back for Paramount Plus.
Yes.
Some of the original cast is going to return, but it's going to be mostly new cast.
Yes. The Bear, which you talked about on the podcast last week, will be renewed for a 2nd season on FX and Hulu.
So I don't think it was nominated this year because it's aired late.
Out of the.
But next year, episode 7 of The Bear is going to win Best Writing.
If you say so. I'll believe it when I see it.
Well, yeah, you better watch episode 7 then.
Next up, Dr. Death will get a 2nd series because it is an anthology series.
It will be turned into an anthology series. Yeah, so 2nd season will follow a new Doctor of Death.
Got it.
Dun, dun, dun.
Dun, dun, dun. And then lastly, sad one.
I just threw this in here because I saw this morning.
It was happened yesterday. Yeah. Yes, Close Enough on HBO Max canceled after 3 seasons. I say 3 seasons in quotes. That was obviously one big order. But still, sad to see it go. Interested to see what JG Cantell does next. Because he kind of did his passion project.
Yeah.
What do you do now? If you're him.
Your next passion.
Yeah, what do you do? But yeah, honestly, I'm okay with this move. I would love to see more of it. But I feel like it ran its course and it had some wonderful episodes.
Very niche into people who specifically lived in Southern California.
It was a very Los Angeles show, and a very Los Angeles show for people between 25 and 35.
When you have a show specifically about Catalina Island,
yes.
most people probably don't even know what that is. Outside of the Catalina wine mixer.
Oh my god. Honestly, I loved everything about this show. I'm sad to see it go, but yes, we will always have it. And like I said, excited to see what he does next, because I could see him working on an existing show and really spicing it up. Mm-hmm. So I hope that that's what he does. And that's it for cancellations and renewals.
That's all right. I think the show kind of wrapped up when it did last season.
The Halloween episode.
That's what I was thinking.
I feel is the perfect way to send it out.
Yep.
It's an example of what that show's strengths were, and just knocked it out of the park. The whole like going into the Cartoon Network studios thing was just like, once you do that, you don't have to do anything else. You're good.
Yep. You hit your ending.
Yeah, you hit your ending, and great job. If you didn't see it close enough, just watch all of it now. It's great. Yep. Very bingeable. So there you go. All right, let's move on into the movie section where our box office lives. Box office numbers this weekend. Your number one movie was, of course, Thor: Love and Thunder with the $144 million debut. Pretty good.
Yep, you can listen to my thoughts on it last week.
Yes. Following that, Minions: Rise of Gru spent its second week, $46 million, $210 domestic. That will easily make more money. It is the Minions after all.
Yep.
Number 3, Top Gun: Maverick coming in with another $15 million. That's almost at $600 million domestic.
We'll get a little bit into Top Gun.
Yes,
Maverick in a bit here.
We will. Coming in at number 4, Baz Luhrmann's Elvis with another $11 million. I'm never going to stop. $91 million domestic. And rounding out your top 5, Jurassic World Dominion with another $8 million. That's at $350.
So even though Elvis was at 91 at the beginning of the weekend, over the course of the week, it earned an extra $9 million, which means it either did or it will by next week hit the $100 million mark.
Yes. Your sole new release for the 22nd of July will be Nope.
But getting a wide release this week.
Yes.
Not the two that we mentioned last week of Paws of Fury and Where the Crawdad Sings.
Yes.
Marcel.
Yes, Marcel the Shell with Shoes On finally goes wide.
Yes.
You may see it tomorrow.
I
may see it tomorrow.
I may see
you
it.
might
tomorrow.
see it tomorroll. You want to see Marcel tomorrow?
Maybe.
You might see it tomorrow.
Well,
although we're probably going to go to Long Beach.
Oh, might be closer.
Well, we'll see.
I don't know.
We can talk about it.
Yeah, I'm going to try and see it this week.
Yeah, I'm going to try to see it too. Very excited to see Marcel.
Heard nothing but good stuff about it. Another A24 piece.
Yes, A24. Killing it. Not so much killing it, though, as the stories that we have this week.
Yes.
First up, we start in the land of China, where, of course, over the past year, producers behind some of the biggest U.S. blockbusters have kept in scenes that could irk China's censors, apparently less concerned about the potential loss of access to theaters across the country of 1.4 billion people. As a result, some of the most anticipated movies released in recent months, including Top Gun: Maverick, Spider-Man: No Way Home, Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, and Lightyear, have not and may never see Chinese screens. In recent months, film studios have begun to rethink the trade-off associated with appeasing censors in China, particularly as the country's box office becomes more insular, more heavily regulated, and continues to be battered by COVID-19 restrictions, according to some experts. Quote, "Pleasing Beijing no longer guarantees big revenues in China," said former DMG Entertainment president Chris Fenton. "Such risk and effort no longer guarantees results, and I expect the lack of certainty to prolong this era of pushback for quite some time." I honestly don't blame the studios for looking at the numbers and just being like, well, if people in China can't see movies, then is there really that much of a risk of not putting a movie in Chinese theaters? And there's not. And so why not just make the movie you want to make the creator's intent instead of having to chop it up for an audience that doesn't care anyways?
So this was a thing that happened in the previous decade, the 2010s, where a lot of movie studios would either cut scenes or change scenes or insert scenes specific for Chinese audiences.
Yes.
Or in order to make one of the 10 films allowed by the Chinese government into their theaters.
You saw this especially with a lot of Disney and similar studios' excuses for why same-sex romance representation was not allowed. their excuse a lot was like, well, we would have to cut it for China and we would have to cut it for Russia, and they would have to make excuses for why the international release was the cause. This is going to become less of an excuse. I mean, we already saw it with the same-sex kiss in Lightyear. This could continue, and that's a good thing, as long as they're not as driven to make sure that the Chinese audience can see it.
Yeah, it's a long time coming. I mean,
yeah,
we've talked about it here on this podcast about the studios making changes, digital changes. Like even with the Top Gun Maverick trailer that came out a couple years ago.
Right.
For the first one, came out like 2020 or 2019, even. And they changed like a patch on his jacket in order to appease China censors because it had Taiwan on it.
It was the Taiwan flag, yes. Yep.
And when Top Gun Maverick came out, no such change.
Right.
Because they didn't have to appease anymore.
I mean, it's tough. Obviously, they're a business, as we like to say at the Media Boat Podcast, and they want their movies seen by as many people as possible and have as many people pay for tickets as possible. But ultimately, when you have to cut your losses. And here, studios have realized finally we have to. We can't rely on all those people seeing it, especially when COVID restrictions are keeping them home anyways. And they can't see the movies. So
maybe we'll revisit this in 5 years.
Yeah, we'll come back to it in 5 years and see if this did make an impact. If studios finally just got over it and we're like, no, we want to make these stories. We want to tell the stories that we want to tell, and we are no longer going to make the concessions to do that.
You know what this means, right? No longer forced scenes in China.
Yes.
I'm looking at you, Transformers.
Yeah, we saw a lot of that last decade. You're right. All right, let's move on into the second story in movies this week. A little crossover with video games. I almost had this in my bits before I scrolled down and had to delete it.
Yes.
Nintendo.
Sorry, I swooped in and got it for you.
That's okay. It's fine. Nintendo has bought a studio called Dynamo Pictures, a Tokyo-based CG production studio that will be renamed Nintendo Pictures. The acquisition and name change are projected to close on October 3rd. In a recent filing, Nintendo said it's acquiring Dynamo to, quote, strengthen the planning and production structure of visual content in the Nintendo Group. Dynamo Pictures has a diverse portfolio of animation and motion capture projects under its belt and has done work for several games like Monster Hunter World and Death Stranding. The studio previously collaborated with Nintendo to create animated shorts based on its Pikmin series. By purchasing Dynamo Pictures, Nintendo might be preparing for a future where film and television shows based on its properties will be done in-house. This makes a lot of sense. This dovetails pretty well with Nintendo stating a couple years back that they wanted to expand and branch out into other media, including this upcoming Super Mario Brothers movie.
Right. I wonder if they've had early release their own access to what it looks like and be like, hey, we can do this for other properties.
Yes.
In-house, so that's why they purchased this. Also, they've seen what League of Legends did with Arcane and Netflix.
That was the other thing I was going to say, which is now the iron is very hot when it comes to adapting video games into television and film. And so why not get people that they own to help out with this process?
Now, that's not to say that Nintendo has not done this in the past.
Right.
There has been Kirby TV shows.
Been,
Legend of Zelda TV shows.
Obviously, just look at Pokemon which still runs today. That's not in-house in Nintendo anymore, but it was originally. And so, you see them already have done that in the past, but it's been a long time. And now all of a sudden, this is the perfect timing for them to do it.
Remember that Donkey Kong TV show?
Oh god, it was terrible. That's like French Canadian or something.
Yes, but now they can do it in-house.
Yeah.
With motion capture.
I would not know. But one thing, though, about this story, though, I think that maybe people are jumping to conclusions a little bit about. This doesn't mean we're immediately going to see Nintendo make their own television shows. Really, I think this is a video game related thing first and foremost. They've already worked on video games. It would make sense to work on Nintendo video games. Of course, Nintendo is not necessarily a studio known for cutscenes and character animation. Not necessarily their bag. But they do have series where this would be helpful. I could see them working on Breath of the Wild 2 cutscenes. I could see them working on future Xenoblade games. I could see them being a really good thing to have if they wanted to make a new IP that maybe had more realistic characters, something like that. There's a lot of opportunity here for Nintendo video games as well as extended media. So a good purchase, I think.
Yeah. And as it's also part of, as we mentioned, Nintendo's opportunity and wanting to expand into other medium outside of video games.
I mean, they see their potential as a big media juggernaut, and I think they will act upon it. But that Super Mario Brothers movie has to be good, because if it's not, all of this goes away. You saw what happened to Square and Final Fantasy: The Spirits Within.
Yes. We're staring squarely at you, crispy rat.
Yes. So it's all on you, Chris Pratt, the crispiest rat there is. All right, let's move on out of that. Any video games that I thought we were in video games because we just talked about Nintendo. Any movies that we watched this week?
Wow, just like promoting HBO Max here. I watched the Bob Burgers movie.
Yeah, what'd you think? What'd you think about it?
Wow, that was so good.
It's fun, right?
That was so good.
It's so funny.
I liked it.
Yeah. Now you should catch up on the show.
It kind of made me want to.
Yeah,
Having not seen Bob's Burgers for years, outside of like the first 3 seasons, I want to say.
Hey, Bob's Burgers is pretty good. I don't know if you know that.
I mean, it's still going, so yeah, it has to be pretty good. But
it's pretty good.
That movie was fun.
It's so much fun.
That was such a fun movie.
I'm glad you saw it. So we might talk about Marcel next week. I watched the 2001 romantic comedy Bridget Jones' Diary for the first time. Christy needed me to see it, and I was going in blind, and it's pretty good. It's pretty good. Turns out it's classic. I can see why it's classic. Anyway, but other than that, no new movies for us this week.
So because I was watching a lot of the British Open, I mean a lot of the British Open on Peacock, they kept trying to get me to watch either the Northman or Firestarter, which I'd already seen, as well as like they kept promoting their movies on Peacock that you can watch, and I'm like, I've seen you. No, thank you, Northman. Maybe eventually.
One day you'll be so bored you will watch the Northman. We'll see. But anyway, that'll do it for movies.
But big one that I watched this week was Bob's Burger movie.
Yes, and still good.
It's good.
It's streaming now if you have to.
I like the musical numbers. Yes. I like the murder mystery behind it. Zach Galifianakis, why are you in here? But
why not? Right? Why not?
Okay.
Yeah, no, that's quality stuff. That's on HBO Max and Hulu. Okay. So because of that deal that Fox made before the Disney deal. So yeah. Anyway, that'll do it for movies, and that will do it for the Media Boat Podcast this week. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. This is a live podcast on YouTube. You can watch it on our YouTube channel. If you search Media Boat Podcast, you can click like, subscribe, whatever you want to click on that page. We'd love a click anywhere. Just click anywhere. Just click a bunch around us, and something will happen. And if you want audio versions of the same podcast, you can do so on podcast services like Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Amazon, iHeartRadio, Spotify, wherever you listen to us, search Media Boat Podcast and you will find us. You can also go to MediaBoatPodcast.com to see an archive of our previous episodes. You can also find us on social media channels like Twitter. Search at MediaBoatCast is our handle there.
Yes.
And if you want to see us on Facebook, we have a page, Media Boat Podcast. Search that and you'll find it. If you want to email us questions, comments, feedback, anything you want to say to us about the show, we will read your email live by emailing mediaboatpodcast@gmail.com.
So we actually did get feedback, not on mediaboatpodcast@gmail.com, but in like real life, face-to-face feedback.
Real life.
Yes. So remember a couple of weeks ago, we talked about Where the Heart Is, the Hallmark series that had like 13 seasons or something.
Right, yes.
Apparently, we know someone who watches this.
We know someone who has watched this?
I guess we know someone who watches this.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And they...
Shocked.
Yes. I was shocked. And they were shocked that, one...
We hadn't heard of it?
We hadn't heard of it because it's been going on for so long. And
on a Hallmark channel.
Yes. But they actually like watch it and enjoy it.
Sure.
It's a good show, according to them.
Well,
but
good to know.
People do watch the Hallmark channel.
Now we know. Well,
now we know.
From our ears to your ears. So now you know what we know.
Yep.
All right. Thank you for joining us. We'll be back next week to talk about all sorts of things. Stray, Marcel, other things.
Where the dusk falls. Dusk falls.
The All-Star Game. Yes. All of this and more next week. So tune in. We'll be here. And for now, and the ESPYs. Manly Man Tears.
Manly Man Tears.
It's our favorite time of the year. The Manly Man Tears time.
Yes, always right after the All-Star game.
Always. Oh yeah, and everybody's favorite day, the day without sports.
Day without sports.
It's happening this week.
It's coming up.
All right, y'all. Everybody have a good day and week, I guess, and we'll see you guys next time.
Okay, bye.
Bye-bye. Stop and
bye. Yes, end stream.
And it.